Guys, it's the end of 4-Star Special League, and today we're going to take a look at all G3 Special League matches. The guy on the left-hand side is rank 4, I believe. Guy on the right-hand side is not even close to that. Let's see. Let's see what winds up happening. Of course, let's see what winds up happening. That's going to be crit damage. That's going to be a crit damage build I'm doing. They didn't even get the strips. They didn't get the CCs. So they got bad RNG on top of that. But this is the rank 4 player actually getting cleaved by some wacky things you usually don't think of. Math Plus Games did. But usually people don't think of Amduat as a speedy cleave monster, but his skill 2 is based on speed. So here's the thing with Special League. Either number 1, you have super fast runes. You've been farming the crap out of giants, and you outspeed, and you cleave, and you outspeed, and you control, and you do that with runes that are just better than your opponent, or you have super premium LD4s like Kinky, Molly, Akari's. I was trying to think of other ones that's literally on the field right now getting turns is Tableau. So either super fast runes, I mean, there are other units that you can use, but for the most part, that's just always... You could say that about the rest of RTA, though, is either you have super premium LD units, or you have crazy fast runes, and you don't get RNG to death in your skills just not working. What do you think would happen if they did just like an entire season of regular RTA as just only 4 stars, just like Special League, but only 4 stars? The game would die. The game would people be like, I can't use my LD5. I spent so many thousands of dollars on these LD5s. Can't use any of my LD5s. Game is broken. Game is dead. They would quit the game. Well, they wouldn't quit the game. They might quit the game. Would they quit the game? I don't know. I really don't. How are they going to beat Kinky? Because Kinky can basically just solo everything all the time. So the question is, how do they wind up beating Kinky? If they ignore defense on him with Faye, well, she's dead now, so I guess that's not an option on the table anymore. Yet another match where it looks like they're both trying to outspeed each other. No, they're not. Dude from Swag is actually, I like his first 2 picks because those are 2 picks that I really enjoy picking at the very beginning of the match as well. Swift Barista. So they didn't get the stuns with the Clara. That was all about who was going to outspeed. They got the glancing hits too. So that was all about just who was going to outspeed, take turn 1. Clara didn't really do what they wanted her to do. It's about who takes turn 1 and RNG. I don't know why I even talk, because we already know exactly. This game has not changed in 8 years. We already know exactly what to expect from it. Did you take turn 1? Yes or no? Did you get RNG in your favor? Yes or no? Well, that just determines who wins. Or if you have crazy LDs. But crazy LDs just helps RNG in your favor as well. This game, man. This game. The glancings really were huge. The Varisa's glancings, even though, see, Clara didn't do her job, which summoners were, but Varisa's glancing is just so great. That's why I like to pick her very early in the draft. She counters just so much. Here's a scary, sobering situation, guys. I'm not trying to look at the same players over and over and over again. There just are not very many players. Like, I'm looking at all the people that were on the favorites lists as well from... Like, I have a bunch of different accounts. I have different favorites. I have different players favorited on each account. And I'm just looking at all of them. I'm like, they haven't played at all this Special League. Like, there's so many, like, whales. Like, people that have spent, like, 6 figures on the accounts. They, like, haven't even touched Special League at all. It's crazy. Take that for however you want to interpret that. It's just an observation from my part, is that there's a lot of people that spent a lot of money on the game that haven't even queued up. Just at all. So maybe they don't want to get cleaved by people that have been farming Giants B12 nonstop. So just go. Oh, nice. They got the violent proc, which means 2 things are defense broken. Does she survive? Tempting dream. They've got so many multi-hits that they don't really have to worry about the Triana at all. Yeah. Bye-bye. Oh, no. That actually, they did have to worry about the Triana there. I stand corrected. But now, Lawrence just goes bye-bye, which means they don't have a defense break. However, they do still... I mean, that could have gone either way. Molly first pick. Wait a second. We're seeing... Please tell me you're going to... Oh. Well, we couldn't see the... Okay, so I thought at first, I was like, oh, please tell me we're going to see all of the Onimushas. Then I realized, oh, we're not going to see the dark one, obviously, because 4-star Special League, we can't possibly see the dark one. So the thing with Molly first pick, though, is sometimes she doesn't work at all. Sometimes her passive just doesn't activate. It's more likely to not activate than it is to actually activate. So as much as I really like Molly, and I am the biggest Molly abuser of them all because I can't do anything without Molly. So often, for those of you that actually have Molly, like, the people that don't have Molly are like, oh, well, I don't have Molly. I really want a Molly. Molly is so good. Molly is good when she works. There's just so many times where she's just like, I'm going to do nothing. I'm also do nothing for this time that they attack too. Also, I'm going to do nothing again. And then nothing again. So, Molly's great when she works. It's just one of those things. Like, Faye is great when she works. Some of these units are fantastic when they work. I was going to say, Reno is insane when he works. These units are really good in the event that they actually, the skills actually do the premium condition of their RNG skills. So now this is kind of dangerous, right? They get some additional they get the stuns on everything. They get the stuns on everything. Additional turns, which is both good and bad. It's good to heal up the Fuki, but oh, that's dead. It's not dead. It's not dead. Additional turn. Again, there's still a chance. There's still a chance. No defense break. Wow. Here, as always, this could have gone any number of ways. If the skills activate, if the skills don't activate, welcome to Summoner's War. I don't have to say that because it's been 8 years. Rank 4, again, versus... Didn't we fight him in not the player on the left, the player on the right. Didn't we fight him didn't we Shazam? We were doing like a Shazam video and we fought him. So outsped with two different things. Outsped with the Frigate and also outsped with the Bernard. Got a little bit of ignored defense, but then gets cut by the... Oh, she was on Despair. Well, that would explain the cut. So now they have to 2v4, which is a nasty situation, but they could still... Remember, it's Summoner's War. They could still get lucky with the AoE stuns right there. It is possible. Additional turn, though. No, I didn't really do anything. Okay. I was excited about I was like, oh, the additional turn they're going to do. So now decreased cooldowns. Even if they didn't get decreased, I mean, it's not that it was a thing that they could get or not get. It's just that's what Frigate does. But even without the decreased cooldowns, they could still proc with one skill into another skill, into like the first skill to the second skill to the third skill. It does happen. So they could have just done that regardless. They could have just got access to their ultimates even quicker regardless if they had them or not. Did we see this match before or did we not see the match before? He's picking the Chilling into, well, it's only 2 wind units. One gets banned. Okay, not the end of the world. And Chilling is fine against Triana because he's got those multi-hits. Chilling is so, like, really, Chilling is so much better than people give him credit for nowadays. I know we're seeing, like, oh, he's good against certain comps and with certain comps. If you're just coming back to the game and you're like, oh yeah, Chilling has always been pretty decent in Dragons. Chilling got buffed. If you guys don't remember, Chilling actually got buffed. We could take a look at Chilling's new skills. It's just a better version of the old skills. It's not necessarily new skills, but Chilling is just better than he was before. I don't think he really even needed a buff. He was perfectly fine before, but he is, it wasn't like this past balance. It was like 3 balance patches ago he got buffed. 4? It was like a year. Was it a year ago? I'm trying to remember I can't remember exactly when Chilling got buffed. But at this point, if they could just sustain, there's 4 units with sustain on the player closest to us, and then the opponents, they have a lot of control. However, does Molly's skill act? Oh, they didn't get the CC there. But this is one of those situations. Does Molly's skill activate? Does Molly's skill not activate? Do they get additional? This is just game at this point. I like to call game very early sometimes, though. I'm like, oh, well, they won, they lost. Okay, so they felt the same way. Quick recap on Chilling, just very fast. Damage increases according to attack speed. Multi-hit, which means he also does good with additional damage. He also buffs his attack speed and his crit rate, so he only needs a maximum of 70% crit if you want him to have 100% crit, because that's what the crit rate buff does. Steals beneficial effect from the enemy target when landing an attack. He's always done that. Your attack speed increases according to the number of beneficial effects currently on you, which means that he does even more damage with the first skill, and then recovers your... recovers your HP by 10% whenever you steal one beneficial effect from the enemy, which he did not always do. Just FYI, if you guys are wondering how chilling is somehow sustaining against you, if you're doing Special League, for the 3 of you that are actually doing it, that is why. Same player on the left-hand side that we've looked at for like half this video already, which is, they both pivot though. Like, both of them are starting to go for control teams or fast aggressive teams, and then they both pivot. One of them goes into the Roid and the Vigor, and then the other one goes into the Molly and RNG. I know you guys, I've seen some of the comments. It's like, you're saying his name wrong. I'm saying his name wrong on purpose. The Water Werewolf, I'm saying his name wrong on purpose because YouTube and also some viewers think that I'm saying something else when I say his name the way that it's probably supposed to be said. So I just intentionally say the name wrong so that there's no misconceptions as to what I'm saying by anyone. So that's the reason. There's logic behind the madness sometimes. I guess the shred doesn't do. How come every time someone is trying to Water Werewolf me, they're trying to shred me, they do like a 10,000 damage per hit, and I'm like, cool. Well, my unit died. And then when you see like matches over here, like, oh, there's not doing that much damage because they're on crit damage. Because he does damage based on his max HP with skill 3, and they're on the ones that do a whole lot more damage. Obviously, are on crit damage. Versus this one is got to be on HP, so he's got to be under super fast and a bunch of HP. Just does damage through additional damage rather than. Although he went down fairly fast. Wait a second. How much did the HP go down at that point? That's like why he went down fast. So we see fairly standard opening of Sheer and Tableau, and then we see Misty, the light jack-o'-lantern. I think is such an underrated unit. We've used him before, but still people don't pay attention. They're like, oh, he's bad. Well, do you know what he does? It's just he's bad. Okay, tell me what he does. He does bad stuff. That's what, like, he's not bad. He's a good unit. So Misty can't be CC'd, number 1. Number 2 is Misty stacks his, if you haven't noticed already, he stacks his stats, which is why he says his passive +4, +5, +6. When the opponents get turns, he stacks his stats. He becomes stronger the longer the match goes on. So if you are fighting against people that are outspeeding you, trying to CC you, trying to take a billion turns and not give you any, Misty is good in those situations. I would guesstimate many of you are in those situations many times. So, gets the invincibility, or did he just get I was too busy talking. Did he just get the invincibility, or did he get the invincibility earlier? I noticed a lot of people doing, this is nothing new. I was going to say a lot of people doing crit damage Triana, but that's been a thing for quite a long time. Unfortunately, Misty bit the dust, but, oh, Chilling didn't bite the dust. Chilling's still around. Chilling's still with us. Chilling's still hanging out doing his chilling thing. Do they get a chance to snipe out Chilling? Because Chilling is really strong here. He's going to steal that invincibility. He doesn't steal the invincibility! Well, did the Ashir have his skill? If the Ashir had Massacre, it wouldn't have really mattered anyway. Yeah. So, he had Massacre anyway, so probably would have been. I mean, it's RNG. Does he steal the invincibility? Then it's good. Does Ashir strip the invincibility after he steals it? Then it's irrelevant, right? So, RNG is RNG. Really, all you're doing when you're farming better runes, when you're acquiring better monsters, is just kind of, you're at a 50% win rate at the beginning. It's like if everything is equal, both players have 50%, right? If both players' skill levels are equal, if everything, the skills, the runes, the monster box, everything, 50%, all you're doing by acquiring more monsters is kind of moving that needle more in your favor. More experience, moving the needle more in your favor. More premium monsters, moving the needle more in your favor. Better runes, moving the needle more in your favor. RNG is going to happen regardless. RNG is just the great equalizer. It's just sometimes it doesn't matter because RNG, random number generator, decides that you lose. Sometimes that's just how the game works. Sometimes a random number generator will just say, hey, you lose. So that's what RNG stands for. If you guys don't know, random number generator. It's how RNG is calculated. It's how randomness is calculated in the game, or in any game. It's not just in Summoner's War. It's in any game. Obviously, you guys have played other games before. You know all about that. So, I think that's... Ooh! I was gonna call it! In the other direction. That was a close one. That was a close one. So this match starts out werewolfy enough, and then it goes into Bruiser on the left-hand side, Cleave on the right-hand side. He's hoping the Antares will cut in, and he can catch his opponents off will runes. Do they have will runes? Do they not have? They do have will runes, and also, does Molly work? That's the question, is does Molly's passive actually activate? Also, additional damage doesn't really matter if the Molly's passive activates or not. Still do pretty good damage with the with all of the cleave units, even though they don't have the attack power buff. The attack power buffer gets banned, and then Kinky would have just been so strong against all that stuff because it can't crit, and or he can't get crit on, and all of those units on the opponent's side were built with heavy crit damage. So at this point, this is already game. They did enough damage even without the attack power buff to just obliterate one of the top players in Special League. I'm calling it now. Just concede. He's not conceding. He's not doing it. Left-hand side going for control. Right-hand, and then picks the Fran at the very end. And then right-hand side decides that they want to also pick their own counter. So if Chilling, fun fact, if Chilling counters your Chloe, just pick Chilling and Chloe together. Actually, now they've got so many buffs on Chilling. It's going to do a lot of damage. It's going to do a lot of damage there. So attack power buff, and then they have... I was surprised to see that Shimate move first before the Acelia. So you do get 3 units frozen. Gets the Cyclone, and they just concede there! The match starts out very werewolfy, as usual, as many Special League matches do. He's got the Dark Chun-Li. Usually you see the Barista. Finishes off with a very mermaidy finish. It's like a fine wine. It's like describing a fine wine. It's a very werewolfy on the palate. With the fishy finish? That would be a terrible wine. That's the worst wine. If you go to a restaurant and you get a fine wine with a werewolfy on the palate and a fishy finish, someone messed with your wine, man. Like, really? That is going to be the worst wine. Oh, jeez. You know what? I'm really rooting for the player on our side, because I think that this Succubus does so much against that team. Between the Succubus and the Lauren, so Lauren's just going to take care of the Tetra, regardless. And then the Succubus is just going to take care of literally everything else. Nothing is going to get a turn. Everything's going to get attack gauge reduction and slept. And Vertiheal's not going to do too much. Not going to do too much against that. That is so brutal. I bet this Succubus is such a great unit. The Water Succubus is so solid. Again, we see all these matches start out very they just do so much. The werewolves, they have great base speed, they do damage, they do sustain, they do turn cycling, they basically do everything. There's not a bad situation to use them, and that's why. That's with any first pick. Wow, they got nothing. That was not what they were hoping to do. All right, so they're gonna. I mean, Triana's still gonna do. Okay, they have a chance now. They have a chance. Does that actually stun? You get 1 stun. Gets a lot of dots. Okay. That started very, very scary for them. Wow. That could have gone a totally different way. I really thought that was going to go the other way. Anyway, that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We had some fun today. We saw some G3 matches. I will see you as always in the next one.